Hey, what's up everyone? For today's video, we're going to be reviewing the brand new E-M10 Mark IV. Now this camera is set to be launched September 25th, and it's going to retail for $699 for the body or $799 if you're looking to pick it up with a 14 to 42 kit. The E-M10 is the entry-level camera series in Olympus's lineup, but it definitely doesn't just pack entry-level features. It has a lot of the professional features that you see in some of their higher-end cameras like the E-M10X, E-M10 III, or even the E-M10 IV. So let's talk about some of those features. So the E-M10 Mark IV is going to share the same exact processor, the TruePic 8, that is inside your E-M10X. Now your E-M10X is going to take advantage of two of these processors, but it's nice to see that we have one of the processors in the small body. Another thing that it's going to share with the E-M10X is it's going to use its autofocusing system. This shares the exact same face detection feature that we find in our E-M1 Mark III. So autofocus, I'm looking really forward to testing out today. It should be a breeze knowing how Olympus does their autofocusing system. A quick disclaimer that I want to give you all. This is not a full production model. We got this model very early before release, thanks to Olympus. So we're actually testing it out. We're going to let them know how it goes, but this isn't a complete product. There's still little things they might have to tweak, but we're still going to put it through its paces and see how it handles everything. Let's talk about some of the upgrades the E-M10 Mark IV has over the E-M10 Mark III. Olympus did improve the stabilization on the Mark IV. This is going to give you 4.5 stops of stabilization versus 4 stops on the previous version. The weight is also going to be different. The E-M10 Mark IV is going to run 383 grams versus 410 grams on our E-M10 Mark IV. The E-M10 Mark IV is going to be upgraded to a 20 megapixel sensor compared to a 16 megapixel sensor that we saw on the previous version. Our frames per second are going to be slightly higher as well. We're going to get 8.7 frames per second when shooting with the mechanical shutter on the Mark IV versus 8.5 on the Mark III. We are going to get 16 options on the art filter on the E-M10 Mark IV. It's going to be the new instant film look versus 15 that we have on our previous version. The E-M10 Mark IV is going to have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth options, whereas your previous version is only going to have Bluetooth options for connection. And we are also going to have a USB charging option on the E-M10 Mark IV, whereas we do not on the previous version again. Now let's talk about some of the ergonomics. So the grip is also going to be redesigned. Coming from the E-M10 Mark III, that one I felt it was a little more difficult to hold in my hand, but this one is definitely a little bit larger on the grip side. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall out, it feels really comfortable. Another thing we're going to have is the fully tiltable screen. It's going to be very similar to something like the Nikon Z50, but it's actually going to flip all the way down. Very happy to see it. If you're looking to do vlogging or selfie taking, this is going to come really in handy, and I'm happy to see this introduced on the E-M10 Mark IV. One thing that I do want to point out when you are purchasing the E-M10 Mark IV is that it is not going to come with an external battery charger. It is only going to come with a cable to charge it via USB. I've seen a lot of other companies doing this as well. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it, but you can always purchase that later as an additional option. The E-M10 Mark IV is small, lightweight, and compact. It's going to be perfect for backpackers, people who are doing trekking, nature photographers, anything of that sort. If you're looking to pack lightweight but still get stunning photos, the E-M10 Mark IV is definitely going to be on your list. We're here in Georgetown at the Golden Rule. It is a bright and early morning, so we're about to actually go and hit the square. Me and Todd were shooting a video till about 1:30 a.m. last night, so if I seem a little tired, that's why, but we're gonna actually get the content for you, so let's get to it. All right, so we just got finished shooting with the E-M10 Mark IV. Now it's time for our final thoughts. What did we think of the camera? Overall, I was very impressed with this camera. It's small, lightweight, compact, and that actually made a difference shooting out here for a few hours. So really happy to see that they were actually able to make it slightly smaller than the previous version. Stabilization was really on par with a lot of the other companies. I was really happy to see how it handled stabilization. That 4.5 stops did make a difference, and I really was able to see a difference when I was in the vlogging orientation when I had it flipped down. I was actually holding it just with my arm out exactly like this, and I felt like it held up with a lot of the other competitors on the market, if not performed a little bit better. Autofocus great, the colors out of it were great. Now I typically don't shoot with micro four thirds myself, but the amount of detail you're actually getting on this sensor, this 20 megapixel upgraded sensor, I was really impressed with. And the art presets were actually fun to just mess around with. If you are planning to pick up the E-M10 Mark IV, I'm very interested to see all your photos and your videos. If you upload them to Instagram, make sure to use the hashtag PrecisionCameraATX, and they might get featured on our page as well. So let us know what you think about this E-M10 Mark IV. If you're happy with all the upgrades that Olympus brought to this camera versus the previous version, if there's something you're actually looking forward to with this, remember to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on our next video.